This bulletin is live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra. It's also on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi. Affiliates across Ghana, including Lolonyo FM in Hohoe and worldwide at myjoyonline.com. In this edition, government announces wide-ranging measures, including semester system for junior high schools and postponement of WASI as they seek to make up for nearly 2,000 contact hours lost following the 10-month shutdown of schools across Ghana.
The PPEs that we are putting in place includes private schools, but issues of textbooks, issues of school fees are not part of that arrangement.
We'll tell you more as schools prepare to open their compounds to pupils from January 15. All 20 NDC minority MPs, including their leader, Haruna Idrisu, who've been charged with unlawful assembly following their march to the EC headquarters last month, failed to show up in court. We'll also take you to the Supreme Court, where justices are hearing legal argument on whether or not to set aside the injunction granted by the Ho High Court against gazetting of John Peter Amewu as Hohoe MP. We have live updates from the Supreme Court. Also, President Akufo-Addo makes final appearance before the 7th Parliament tomorrow as the House steps up preparation towards dissolution and swearing in of the 8th Parliament and the President-elect.
It is to give honourable members and the Ghanaian people a message on the state of the nation.
We have details of that and more here on the Midday News. Thanks for making time to be with us. We are your home of credible, independent and fearless journalism. I am MFA Paul. And in our very first story for this afternoon, the Ghana Education Service has announced wide-ranging measures to make up for nearly 2,000 contact hours lost following the 10-month shutdown of schools. For 9 months, students who have had to stay home due to COVID-19 will be returning to school on January 15. President Akufo-Addo, who announced the reopening of schools, assured all necessary safety protocols have been put in place to ensure the safety of the pupils.
Our children must go to school, albeit safely. We are satisfied that in the current circumstances, the reopening of our schools is safe. So from 15th January, our children in kindergarten, primary and junior high, in both private and public school, will be back in school. All SHS1 students will start classes from 10th March, with all his students embarking on a single-track academic calendar. Their seniors in SHS2 and SHS3 will, however, return to school from 18th January. I must stress that SHS3 students in all schools, like SHS1 students, will no longer run the double-track system. Students in universities and other tertiary institutions are to be in school from Saturday, 9th of January.
Yes. President Akufo-Addo in that address last night. So addressing the media on preparations made by the service, Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Professor Kwesi Opoku-Amankwa, announced all students will move one class ahead. He adds that contact hours have been adjusted to ensure all lessons missed during their stay-home period is accounted for whilst covering lessons for their new class. Faustina Safo was there for joining. She joins me in studio with more details. Faustina, what exact measures have the GES put in place for the reopening?
Thank you very much, MFA. First of all, what they are doing is disinfecting all schools across the country. They're also providing Veronica buckets and soap, as well as sanitizers and papers and tissue. The idea is that the children should go back to school, but then their safety is assured. They're also saying that they've released some sort of a new academic calendar that would cater for the number of students coming in, especially with a new batch coming in for Form 1s in senior high schools in March 10. And then they're also saying that for other students in school, they have a calendar for them to ensure that contact hours lost during the period while at home would be recovered.
We don't want to talk about promotion, but what we want to let you know is that they all move one class ahead. And that is the reason why we've taken time to calculate the number of contact hours that are needed. So the lost time and then the lost curriculum, or the things that they were supposed to have learned last year, they will cover all that and also cover what they are supposed to learn this year by the time they move from January to December. So those ones are technical issues that we, as the implementers of the program, will take time to work those things out and make sure that everything that they are supposed to have covered, they will cover. So by the time, if you are in class 1, yes, you move to class 2, but it doesn't mean that you have been promoted.
So, Professor Opoku-Amankwah also mentioned that the double track system in senior high schools will gradually be phased out. Then the semester academic calendar will be introduced in junior high schools. Please tell us more.
Interesting. Now, he said that with Form 1s in senior high schools and also Form 3 in senior high schools, they would no longer be running the double track system. And so government has, over the period of 3 years, ensured that they put up structures to accommodate the students so they would not need to go through the double track system anymore. Now, they also talked about this, I found very interesting, the semester system for junior high schools. Now, this is supposed to run in 2 batches, and government has already put in a lineup on how they expect it to run. Now, according to them, for the first semester, it will run from the 18th of January to the 11th of June. Okay. Then students would break from the 12th of June to the 5th of July for vacation. And then they come back in for the second semester on the 6th of July. And then they would write the BEC. That's a new addition as well in November. And then the end of the semester break as well.
Okay, so WASI now will be written in September?
Yes, please. WASI will be written in September, respectively.
Okay, and there was a directive on no fee charge for COVID-19 tests for the student. How will they ensure compliance by the schools?
Well, according to Opoku-Amankwah, he has been receiving feedback from some pupils and even parents in private schools that some of these school authorities have been calling them, saying that there will be mandatory testing of students for COVID-19 before school reopen and demanding some monies for them. According to him, that is not a GS directive. They have no right to do so, and they're going to be visiting schools to ensure compliance.
Thank you very much, Faustina Safo. She covered that press conference for us here earlier. But we must add, however, that the Director General also announced special arrangements for children with special needs and girls who may have dropped out of school due to teenage pregnancy.
We've also put in place something we call school re-entry for the vulnerable, especially for the girls who have stayed home for long and for one reason or the other, they may not be able to go to school. We have a special package through SHEP and girls' education to encourage them to go back.
That's the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Professor Opoku-Amankwah. So how are schools actually preparing for the reopening? Let's take a quick tour of some capitals in the country. We'll go to the Volta region now, where Fred Kwame-Asare joins us with what he's gathered so far. So Fred, have you seen any preparations by these schools so far?
Well, I visited about 3 schools here in the Volta regional capital. I visited the whole Dome Primary and Junior High School, the Okoji ANP, and then Mauli Primary and Junior High School. I should say that at the time I got to the campuses, there were no activities ongoing. There were no authorities or teachers or whatsoever preparing the campus. But then I should say that before school would resume, especially with regard to the Mauli Primary and Junior High School, teachers or the authorities must ensure that the campus is tidier because it's a bit bushy. So if they don't read the environment and ensure that reptiles and whatever animal that may hide in the bush to bite or harm the students are getting rid of, it should be bad for them to reopen the school without doing that. So currently, the campuses I visited, there's no activity ongoing. But I believe that in the course of the week, authorities would move in and then prepare the campuses to ensure that people come back to or resume school in a safe environment.
Okay, that's my colleague Fred Kwame-Asare from the Volta region telling us about the situation in terms of preparation for reopening of schools. My colleague Nanaya Ojima has also been checking in the Ashanti region. We are told some cleaning up is already ongoing. We'll head to the Upper West region where Rafiq Salam has also been monitoring some schools. But as and when we're able to reach my colleagues, we'll speak to them shortly. But the Information Ministry has also been giving updates on fumigation of schools ahead of the reopening of an event at the Black Star Square. Here's Managing Director of Zoom Lion, Gloria Anti, who spoke at that event.
We have procured a wide range of state-of-the-art disinfection vehicles and equipment, including 50 atomizing vehicles, 10 street disinfection trucks, 5,000 motorized spraying machines, 5,000 knapsack spraying machines, 100 disinfection drones, and 5,000 handheld spraying machines. In terms of workforce, Zoom Lion alone can boast of over 7,000 spraying gangs across the country who have been well trained with skills and the art of disinfection by the internationally recognized Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research.
That's the managing director of Zoom Lion, Gloria Inti. Meanwhile, Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kabuaji, says as a result of the high COVID-19 hygiene practices, Ghana did not record any case of cholera last year, and there was also a significant reduction in all diarrhea cases. He was speaking at that same program with Zoom Lion at that exhibition at the Independence Square. Well, he's also been stating that some persons who tested positive at the airport and were supposed to self-isolate did not manage it properly. Now, he says the Kotoka International Airport recorded 393 positive cases in December. Its highest so far, with 36 cases since the new year started. Now, legal practitioner and lecturer at the University of Professional Studies, Benedicta Lassie, has questioned the conduct of 4 police officers who subjected City FM journalist Umaru Sanda Amadu to a search few days ago. In the video recorded by the journalist, the policemen were seen verbally abusing Mr. Sanda, whom they accosted in traffic. The visibly angry group of policemen insisted they were searching for weapons and drugs in his car. The incident comes in the wake of attacks and threats on journalists. But before we hear from lawyer Benedicta Lassie, Umaru Sanda shared the experience on the Super Morning Show.
That guy who is a driver is also the leader of the team. His name, which was printed on his shirt, is Richard Day. He was holding his phone aloft and was filming as well. What pissed him off? He said, "Why was I filming his face?" And I said, "Well, this is a search being conducted by a team, and I cannot just film people's hands digging or plowing through my stuff. I should show the face of the person doing that." But this guy got upset and started using abusive language on me, and some of them you could hear in there. I said to him, and he kept instructing me to turn my camera into the car, and I said, "You can't really teach me camera skills, That upsetted him that I was actually responding. Started abusing me. Then eventually he rushed and hit my hand, because he said he was not happy that I was filming them. So he hit my hand, and my phone fell, and my screen cracked. So he picked the phone, went to his car angrily, sat down, and put the phone on his seat.
City FM journalist Umaru Sanda Amadu. Now, even though lawyer Benedicta Lassie indicates the law permits searches, she questions their conduct towards Umaru Sanda and calls on the police to look into the matter.
So where you have the police service now taking some form of an arbitrary stance when it comes to the interpretation of laws or how they should conduct themselves as law enforcement officers, we begin to raise the question whether the police recognizes that they are not supposed to be hostile towards the citizens. They are supposed to be law enforcement authorities, and within their work lies their responsibility to respect the dignity of persons. So they're supposed to conduct themselves within a certain threshold, that which has been specified in the law and also within their code of conduct. Now,
that's Benedicta Lassie. She's a legal practitioner, private legal practitioner and lecturer at the University of Professional Studies. Let's head to the courts now, where all the 20 NDC minority MPs, including their leader Haruna Idrisu, who've been charged with a lawful assembly following their march to the EC headquarters last month, have failed to appear in court. The MPs walked from Parliament House to the EC headquarters and broke through a police barricade to present a petition to the EC. The petition demanded a collation of the 2020 Techiman South parliamentary election results. The police, in a statement of offence, accused the minority MPs of failing to notify the service before holding a special event contrary to sections 1, 2 and 9 of the Public Order Act. The police have also charged them with unlawful assembly contrary to section 202 of the Criminal Offences Act. When the case was called in the Accra Circuit Court 11 today, the police prosecutor indicated his readiness to proceed with the case, but with none of the accused persons present or their lawyers in court, the circuit judge was forced to adjourn the case without a new set date. We'll take you live to the court complex where my colleague Bismarck Kweku Asante has been covering this particular proceedings. Kweku, what exactly happened in court today?
Right, MFR, so when the issue was suspected that the minority MPs or their lawyers would have their proceedings taken, whether they are guilty or not guilty, and then an application for bail will be made. But no testing was done because none of the 20 minority MPs or their lawyers were in court. And so that was a surprise to the court, that was a surprise to the prosecution, who did not know what our application did. And so it would have become very difficult for the court to proceed and hear the issue. And so it has to be that the judge has to adjourn the case without setting a new date, but expecting that the police prosecution will at least reconcile why the minority MPs were not in court and what are the questions they. Of course, there are also those who have raised issue of contempt of court by saying that once the court summons have been issued to the minority MPs, they have to appear before court. And without coming to the court and not offering any explanation, that could present some contempt of court issue for them. But that is left for the court to decide.
So, quickly, did the police prosecutor indicate in any way whether he had any correspondence with the MPs as to whether or not they did not show up?
Right. So the police prosecutor, from all indications, was actually also surprised that the minority MPs were not present in court because, according to him, officially, they've not had any indication from the 20 minority MPs that they were not going to come to court or they were not going to appear before the court to answer to the charges that have been leveled against them. But of course, unofficially, journalists have been speaking to Rakoba, who said that the minority MPs were not going to appear before court because they were dealing with legislative issues, and that the CID had not used the formal route of getting to the Speaker of Parliament to release these MPs to appear before the court for summons. But it was a surprise thing for the police prosecutor in court that the minority MPs were not present.
That's my colleague Bismarck Kwekwesante there reporting from the court. Meanwhile, Executive Director of the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs, Dr. Rashid Rahman, says the move to prosecute the minority MPs is not smart considering the nature of the 8th Parliament.
We are dealing with what is going to be a very difficult parliament where, however you look at it, we need the NDC and the MPP to work together. I mean, we have seen so many crimes, political crimes in this country related to these elections that we've had. I mean, what happened to those who killed in Techiman? What happened to the honorable member who fired a shot? So please, let's look at the mood of the nation. You have to apply the law, but sometimes some common sense is needed. And I think that this is a situation where you have Haruna Idrisu, you have Muntaka, you have Abeji, you have, all the key people that will be needed to make the next parliament function. Honestly, it's not smart. I think that our security agencies should carefully reconsider this.
Executive Director of the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs, Dr. Rashid Rahman there. So the search is on for these 20 MPs. Where are they exactly? Parliamentary correspondent Joseph Opoku Gakpo joins us from Parliament House. Have you spotted these 20 MPs and what have they been telling you?
MF, I've spotted a number of them. I've seen John Jinapo around, Roxin Dafiamakbo, Yusuf Jaja, as well as a number of other ones. You inquired from them why they weren't in court. The feedback they gave is that they've not seen any summons officially coming to them. What they've heard is seeing it fly about within the media space, and that's how come they weren't.
Well, and I'm told there's registration that is still underway in Parliament.
This is day 2. This is actually day 3 of the registration. From what we gather, somewhere around 150 MPs plus have already been around to undertake their registration. They're expecting all the 275 before the 6th of January. That's Wednesday, after which from the 7th going, then the new parliament will be calling.
But quickly, though, I'm sure in your interaction, did you find out from them if they're going to take any further actions, whether they would check on these charges that have been proffered against them?
Essentially, I've been checking with the leadership on the minority side, and the feedback they give is that they are waiting for the police to go through the official processes that will then allow for the said summons to actually be brought in. They would want to see it officially. They would have to go through the speaker as far as the police is concerned to get themselves. And once that is done officially, they are ready to show up in court because they say they are law-abiding people.
That's parliamentary correspondent Joseph Opoku Gakpo. Let me take you back to the court, this time the Supreme Court. They've been busy this morning. The justices are hearing arguments on whether or not to set aside the injunction granted by the Whole High Court against gazetting of Energy Minister John Peter Amewu as Hohoi MP. Lawyers for the residents of Central Kofi, Akpafu, Likpe and Lolobi say the Apex Court should allow them challenge the election of Mr. Amewu since their right to vote for an MP has been violated. Court correspondent Joseph Opoku Gakpo joins us shortly with an update, but here's a background he put together earlier.
The Apex Court on December 30 set January 4 as day to hear oral arguments. It ordered that lawyers for the SAR residents file written arguments by 12 noon on December 31, with the AG's office required to file further arguments by close of work on the same day. Joy News is learning that lawyers for the SAR residents could not comply with this directive and filed at 2:30 p.m., resulting in the AG's office being disabled from filing before close of day. Deputy Attorney General Godfrey Adami is expected to bring this to the attention of the courts. The SAR residents meanwhile say the Apex Court should allow the injunction granted against gazetting of John Peter Mewu Asohoy MP to remain in force.
Let's go live to the Supreme Court now. Joseph Akable joins us. Joseph, so we are told that the hearing or the arguments are already heating up. We'll talk more about it. But earlier, lawyer Tachichikata had cause to raise concerns about the empaneling of the judges. He's asking that Justice Wanyanuga steps aside or recuses himself. Tell us more.
He specifically says that Justice Clemens Wanyanuga is a long-standing friend of the MP-elect for Hawaii constituency, John Peter Mewu, and so allowing him to hear this particular matter will not result in a fair trial, as Mr. Amewu's interest is at stake in this particular matter. So he urged the court to ask Mr. Wanyanuga to recuse himself from hearing this particular case.
Well, so how did that end up?
The AG's office responded to the effect that the allegation, no evidence has been provided to back the allegation, and so the Deputy Attorney General Godfrey Adami urged the court to dismiss this particular request. And the court went for a recess for about 35 minutes, returned and delivered the decision that Justice Wanyanuga can stay on the panel as there is no substance in the allegation. The second point being that the court says the question before it is whether or not the High Court as whole can proceed to hear the case is currently hearing, which involves Mr. Amewu. The court says it's a jurisdictional issue, and the issue currently before it does not even have Mr. Amewu as a respondent. And so it said that Mr. Amewu's interest is remotely connected to this case, and so they proceeded to dismiss the request and ask that the case proceed. It's currently hearing legal arguments, and Mr. Godfrey Adami has been arguing for 20 minutes and completed, making the point that the residents of South do not have voting rights in the Hawaii constituency. And if they have any voting rights, it should be in the Buem constituency. And so the court should proceed to stop the High Court from hearing any matter relating to it. Mr. Chikata first, when he was called upon, said that he would need an hour and a half to put forward his case, even though the court had said that they are giving lawyers on both sides 20 minutes to argue. As I speak to you now, he has been arguing for the last 15 minutes, making the point that he believes the Attorney General has admitted in court that the people's right to vote in the parliamentary elections has been breached. And so he wants the court to take note of that. And he's currently on his feet still speaking, MFR.
That's my colleague Joseph Akable. We'll leave you to it, and then we'll know by close of day whether the Supreme Court will be setting aside the injunction granted by the whole High Court against gazetting of John Peter Mewu as Hohoe MP. We'll stay a while longer in the courts, this time to Cape Coast in the Central Region, where High Court there has set judgment of an injunction application filed by one Michael Ankoma Nimfa, a resident of Asin North, following the allegations of dual citizenship of the MP-elect for Wednesday. My colleague Richard Kojonyako was in court. He joins us on the line. Richard, tell us more about this particular case. Hello, Richard Kojonyako. So it appears we don't have Richard Kojonyako on the line, but I know that Mr. Nimfa is praying the court to restrain the MP-elect for Asin North, James Joe Jachikwason, from holding himself as the MP-elect because he held a dual citizenship at the time of filing. This is the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM, and government announces wide-ranging measures, including semester system for junior high schools and postponement of WASI as they seek to make up for nearly 2,000 contact hours lost following the 10-month shutdown of schools across Ghana. And when we return, President Akufo-Addo makes final appearance before the 7th Parliament tomorrow as the House steps up preparation towards dissolution and swearing in of the 8th Parliament and the President-elect. Right back after this break. Please stay.
Ghana celebrates another democratic success story of the Fourth Republic after elections 2020 and prepares for the inauguration of elected representatives and government with the following events. At 10 a.m. on 5th January 2021, His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo will deliver his end-of-term State of the Nation address before the 7th Parliament of the Fourth Republic. On the stroke of midnight on 6th January 2021, the 7th Parliament would stand dissolved. There will be the selection of Speaker of Parliament and 2 Deputy Speakers, paving way for the inauguration of the 8th Parliament of the Fourth Republic. On 7th January 2021, President-elect Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo will take the oath of office and be sworn in as President, with Vice President-elect Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to begin their second term in office. This event will take place in the precinct of Parliament House at 10 a.m. Attendance is strictly by invitation. These landmark events to strengthen Ghana's democracy will be live on this network and other digital online platforms. Long live the Republic of Ghana.
This bulletin is live in the Volta region on Jubilee Radio Keta, Volta Premier and Kekali Radio in Ho, Lolonyo FM in Hohoi, Pando FM in Pando, Fafa Radio in Joje, Radio Hogba in Angloga, Klenam Radio Bato, Victory FM Aplao. In the Eastern region, we're on K-Poly Radio in Kofrodia. In the Northern region, we're on Bishara Radio, Radio 123 and Radio Justice in Tamale. And in Savannah region, we're on Inkelege FM in Bole. In the Upper East region, we're live on A1 Radio and Dreams FM in Bogatanga and Radio Fumbese in Fumbese. In Upper West, we're live on Radio Sonmale in Wa, Radio Freed in Nandom, Radio Wa in Wa, and Bolu FM in Bolu. In the Bono East region, we're on Gaskia FM in Techiman. In Bono region, we're on Sky FM and Parrot FM in Sunyai. Central region, we're live on ATL FM in Cape Coast. And in the Western region, we're on Radio Max in Takrady.
And here in Accra, this is Joy 99.7 FM, your home of bold, fearless, and credible journalism. Now, President Akufo-Addo will be making his final appearance before the 7th Parliament to present the State of the Nation address on Tuesday. The address, the last in his first term, is expected to give account of his government's stewardship and press home the need for national unity and peace ahead of his second term. Presidential correspondent Elton Brobe takes a look at the issues this week in the following report.
Here again, in this august house, to perform one of the most pleasant duties on the calendar of the President of the Republic.
The 7th Parliament will rise for the last time for President Akufo-Addo when he delivers the State of the Nation address tomorrow in accordance with Article 67 of the 1992 Constitution, which states that the President shall, at the beginning of each session of Parliament and before a dissolution of Parliament, deliver to Parliament a message on the state of the nation. The development will signal the process to dissolve the 7th Parliament against the background of a nation clearly divided on political lines and a challenge to an election verdict. The President is expected to use the address to unite the nation and pledge to abide by the outcome of the electoral petition filed by the NDC's flag bearer John Dramani Mahama at the Supreme Court. But even before the decision will be made, the President is focused on his job, starting with the ushering in of the African Continental Free Trade Area.
This ceremony represents an important step towards realizing the goal of continental integration, to create an economically integrated and sustainable continent, capable of ending our dependency on foreign assistance and eradicating poverty, begins today.
On the midnight of Wednesday, 6 January 2021, the 7th Parliament will be dissolved, but outgoing MPs are not expected to be present. Here's the Director of Public Affairs at Parliament, Kate Addo.
11:55, 6 January 2021, Parliament, the 7th Parliament of the Fourth Republic will stand dissolved.
48 hours after the presentation of the State of the Nation address, President Akufo-Addo will be back in Parliament to take the presidential oath to start another 4-year mandate. Joy News is lining the opposition NDC and its 137 members of Parliament will boycott the event, similarly to the 2013 episode when the MPP did same after the 2012 election, which the party said was fraudulently won. Elton Brobe for Joy News.
And that's how it looks like this week. We are looking forward to that State of the Nation address tomorrow. Mapitso Sibidi is back in the studio. You thought it would never end. Okay, I was with you the whole
we were
period.
together,
Anyway,
babes.
It's true. But aside all that, you've still been doing all the chilling. Hey, Minty, what's
Please,
up?
I am a respectable member of the
International woman.
community, an international woman.
We
So this your
respect that.
chilling there. I don't understand. I can't think far.
What's it entertainment?
All right. So this weekend weekend was a fabulous weekend for Patapa and his family as he tied the knot. Some are saying that he put some lady in a tight one corner. Sister Sandy has been speaking to Leah Miller, who is now Mrs. Patapizi, and this is what she had to say, why she fell in love with Patapa.
Papa is very caring. He's very caring. If I'm sitting in the car, he will force me to wear seatbelt. He said, please, can you wear your seatbelt? Okay. When I'm sleeping, he will wake up, and the way I sleep, I will always throw the bed sheet away. He will cover me. I had typhoid. People on social media was like, oh, Leah, you are growing slim. You look so good. They didn't know I was seriously sick. Oh. And Patapa was really... I think the almost the 10 days that I was seriously sick, he had not even slept one night. Okay. He was always on my bed asking me, do you need something? Anytime I open my eyes, he was there either with the Bible praying for me, or he was like asking me like he couldn't even sleep. That was also the first time I see him crying.
So that is Mrs. Patapizi, and wow, unfortunately, because of radio, Patapa told us why he married Leah, and yeah, I can't say it,
but every woman is a woman.
But every woman is a woman. They have the same thing.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
What's trending on social media?
Okay, so people are also talking about the first working week of the year. They're very excited. They hope to complete their goals. And what's your New Year resolution? Quickly.
It's just another year. We'll do the same things, even better. Okay. I don't do New Year resolutions.
Okay, I'm going to give you one. We are both going to the gym.
Yes, that's very important. Very, very important. That's it for the midday news. And on Arrival Live, National Road Safety Authority, with support from Toyota Ghana, Logistics Movers, and Joy News Drive Safe campaign, keep 100% of your attention on driving at all times. No multitasking. I am MFA Pau. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. How to build in 2021, part 2 with Pastor Menso Tobel. Right after this, please stay.
When you want it, just move it. When you